Hi, all. I'm Viresh. I'm Chartered Accountant. And first of all the best to all of you who are appearing in May 21 exam for CA Finance. Today, I am taking up a small topic that is Nidhi companies, that is Section 406 of the Companies Act. And today I'm going to teach that Nidhi companies chapter, which is a very small chapter. It will gives you only 2 to maximum 3 marks, and it won't give you more than that. And even it will doesn't give any marks also in the exam. So don't put too much of effort on this chapter. It is just give you 2 to 3 marks. So let us start that chapter. So for the convenience, I have included all the questions from RTPs, MTPs, and even from the all the summary of study material. Everything I have included here. So just use this material, and link was provided in the description for this material, and download. And if you have any questions, there is a my WhatsApp number also they also available. You can reach out to me, and let us start the topic. Okay. So let us discuss about the definition of the Nidhi company. The relevant section for Nidhi company's definition is section 406. I would recommend you to remember this section because this section is the only section is for Nidhi company's chapter. If you remember section 406, you can mention in all of the questions this section. This is relevant for whole chapter. So remember this section, that is section 406. Let us see the definition first. Nidhi company means a company which has been incorporated as a Nidhi with the object of see the objects here, cultivating the habit of thrift and savings. A thrift is the meaning of thrift is just not wasting the money. So not wasting the money and saving it for the right purpose, for our future use. So nidhi, what is nidhi is cultivate the habit of thrift and saving among its members. So it will save the money of its members. And see the second objective is receiving deposits and lending to its members only. See, deposit and lending service also there with Nidhi. But by looking at the first object, you will definitely get a doubt that how this Nidhi company is different from the chit fund company. Chit fund company also do the same thing. It will take the money and it will give it back the money when they needs it. So there are a lot of chit fund companies also there. Then how this Nidhi company is different from chit fund company? So there are few differences, but I will tell you the major differences here. The major difference is Nidhi companies regulated by the Companies Act, and it is a kind of NBFC, non-banking financial company, but with some restrictions. And whereas the chit fund company is dealt by Chit Fund Act, and it is not an NBFC company. And the second major difference is, if you see the second objective, receiving deposits and lending to its members only. This object and this service was not available with the chit fund business. Chit fund business can't do deposit and lending service. It only saves the money of the chit fund business members, and it will give it back to them. So that's the only service chit fund can do. And the scope of Nidhi company is a little further than little more than this chit fund company. So that is the difference between Nidhi and chit fund company. Okay, let us see the definition again. Let's look at the keywords. Only mention these keywords, you will get a whole marks for this. Nidhi company means a company which has been incorporated as a Nidhi with the object of cultivate the habit of thrift and savings. Cultivate the habit of thrift. Thrift and savings is the keyword here. And second thing is deposit and lending is the keyword here. Okay, I have provided few examples of Nidhi companies, that is Sri Teja Benefit Fund Limited and Dhanachakra Permanent Fund India Limited. So this is only I given you example because when you search it on Google, you will remember it better and you won't forget the definition. Just to memorize better. I have given the examples here. Just go through and Google these companies. Okay, and we'll go into the next part of this topic, that is Nidhi company is the rules of the Nidhi company. In your study material, it's they have given a point by point what all the Nidhi can do, what the Nidhi companies can't do and all. But what I did is I segregated all those main points into three categories. One is prohibitions, requirements and other areas. The first category, that is prohibitions for Nidhi company, that is prohibited activities for Nidhi company. And the first prohibition and the most important one is the object clause of Nidhi company. The object clause of Nidhi company should not have any other object except the cultivate the habits of savings, not any other object. But Companies Act has given one exception to them. That is, they can allow the members to have a locker facility, and they are providing the locker facility to its members, and they can deposit some normally banks will provide the locker facility. What they will do is they can take the documents and they can take the gold and they will put it into the locker, and they will collect some amount as a rental. Similar way, Nidhi companies can also do provide the locker facility, but only to its members, not to public at large. So but there is another restriction here. They cannot do this business like unconditionally. There is a condition here that the total income generated by this locker facility should be restricted to 20%. It should not cross the 20% of the total income of the Nidhi company for that financial year. But this 20%, if you see here in this point, if you see 20% of its total in gross total income at any point during the year. At any point, this is a very important keyword here. That means even if it is not processed as on 31st March, if from 1st April to 31st March, at any point in time, if it crosses the 20% of the 20% this rental income, 20% of the total income of the Nidhi company, then it is a violation of the Nidhi rules. So there is one example here. This is a study material example. So in this Sunshine Benefit Fund Limited is actually having a 25% of the gross total income as their locker rent income, but this is not allowed. This is what the above point says. This is not allowed. So locker rent income should be restricted to 20% only. It should not be 25%. So the company is violating the Nidhi rules. This was asked 2 times in the exam. So this is very important point. And the next prohibition is Nidhi company cannot commercialize themselves. Their main object should stick to its main object, that is savings. So for that, Companies Act, what Companies Act did is here it can issue only fully paid equity shares of nominal value of rupees 10. It cannot issue either debentures or preference shares. So it can only issue fully paid equity shares and a nominal value of rupees 10 only. This is also an important point. And the third one, I can take the connecting point after this fully paid equity share. They can pay the dividend also. It's allowed to pay the dividend, but the maximum dividend that they can declare is only 25%. 25% rate of dividend only they can declare. If they want to declare more than 25%, they have to take a regional director's permission for the same. Okay, in Companies Act, if you refer to section 123, there is a provision there. Before declaration of dividend, it is a discretion of the given to the company to transfer some amount to the general reserve, or even there is no any limitation on the company to transfer the some amount to general reserve before declaration of dividend. Unlike section 123, but in the Nidhi company rules, if you see this point, Nidhi company should transfer equal amount to general reserve. That means how much amount they are. Suppose if they are declaring 10% as a dividend, the 10% amount they have to transfer equal amount to the general reserve first, and then only they will able to declare the dividend. This is a different in compared with section 123 that you should remember. And another condition is as like a dividend provisions, normal dividend provisions, they should not be default in any repayments to its members, and it should comply with all the Nidhi rules before declaration of dividend. Simple. What is dividend rules? Dividend rules, it cannot declare more than 25%. With the approved designated director, they can declare more dividend of 25%, more than 25% also. And before declaration of dividend, they should transfer some amount to the general reserve. It should comply with the Nidhi rules and should not be default in any repayments. Okay. So and this is the another important point. Now other thing is, if you can see the point number 2, it cannot operate current accounts with its members. So the Nidhi company cannot operate a current account. It can only operate a savings and FD account with its members. It cannot operate the current account. That is another thing. And a Nidhi company should not have a subsidiary. It should not have a subsidiary. Simple. This is a very strict rule, and this current account and not having a subsidiary. And another important point from exam perspective, this point, minor or body corporate cannot be a member of Nidhi company. So minor cannot be a member, and even body corporate cannot be a member. Only individuals can be a members. and not a minor. Only major individuals can be a members of Nidhi company. The other prohibitions on Nidhi companies is Nidhi company should not carry any lease, hire purchase, and insurance business. As I said earlier, Nidhi company is also an NBFC company, but so it should not carry any other business, any other NBFC business, even lease related and hire purchase and insurance. These are the other categories of NBFC. So as the Nidhi company is only specifically for the savings of its savings and deposit and lending business, so it should not carry the other categories of NBFC business. So that is logical. So that is prohibition. And the other prohibitions less important for exams, but you can just go through. That is pledge of any assets lodged by its members only as a security. So the while they are providing the loans, they can take this as a security, but the security is only from its members. So that is another restriction, and you should not carry any brokerage or incentive to get the deposit or to grant any loan. So it should not provide any incentive. They should not do the quid pro quo. So you do this, and I will give you the loan, or you deposit the money to me. I will do this favor to you. This kind of benefits the company should not provide. That is also prohibited. And further, it should not give any advertisement to solicit the public to deposit as well as to grant to get the loans. So it is advertisement also prohibited. But if the members at large know about what is happening over the Nidhi company, advertisement is must if they want to give some important news to its members. What it will do. So further, there is a company side provided one exception. The exception is if the advertisement contains like private circulation to members only, then it should not be considered as a advertisement for public at large. It is only for the members to convey some message to its members. So that is an exception provided by the Companies Act. So this is about the prohibitions. As I said earlier, the local rent one, and minor and body corporate cannot be a member, and fully paid equity shares related point, and a dividend. So these are the most important points, and already asked in the exam earlier. Now we are going to the next category, that is requirements. If you see the requirements, this is more important from the MCQ's perspective. There might be chance of getting a question out from requirements and other categories as well. So let's see the requirements. The first point of the requirement is it should be a public company and it should have a minimum paid up equity share capital. So preference shares and preference shares were not allowed, that we have already seen earlier. So only equity share capital, minimum paid up equity share capital should be 5 lakhs. That should be there. And incorporated only as a public company. Why only as a public company? Why not private company or any other category of company? Is public company gives more security. If you see in the private organizations, we have seen in the now in the news also that there are few people will start this kind of chit fund business, and they will abscond the money of the public. So that we have already seen in many cases. So in Nidhi company, that's the primary condition to start a Nidhi company, that company should be public company. So money with the members are the public. So that kind of things which were happening in the chit fund business, that won't happen in the Nidhi business. So it should be a public company, and it should have a minimum paid up equity share capital of rupees 5 lakhs. That is the first requirement. And second requirement is object in memorandum of association is only to cultivate the habit of savings and deposit and lending service among the members. So this we have already seen in the Nidhi definition. The same thing was summarized here. So this is also one of the main requirement of the Nidhi company. I'm going to the third category of requirements. So Nidhi company at the time of its incorporation or within 1 year of its incorporation should ensure the following requirements. The minimum number of members should be 200. So number of members or equity shareholders of the Nidhi company should be 200 members minimum. Okay. And second point is unencumbered term deposits should not be less than 10% of the outstanding deposits. So this is important point. Unencumbered. What is the word unencumbered? Unencumbered means that money is free to use. Simple. In simple terms, that money is a free to use. It should not. It should be free for the free of debt, or there is no liability on that money. So every Nidhi company, this unencumbered money is there, right? This unencumbered money they have to deposit in a scheduled commercial bank or in a post office, either scheduled commercial bank or in a post office. For example, let us take an example. Nidhi company, as on 31st March, they have collected around 1 crore as their deposits. Now, out of that 1 crore, how much is 10%? That is 10 lakhs. Every Nidhi company should deposit 10 lakhs in a scheduled commercial bank or in a post office. So this money is just like a security. In case of any emergency or something happens for the Nidhi company, this money can be utilized by either by the government or by the Nidhi company to safeguard themselves and to repay the money of the depositors. This is a kind of security. So unencumbered term deposits means free of debt or no liability, no charge against this money. Should not be less than 10% of the total outstanding deposits. Here one more point. I have not written this point. You can note down in your after taking the printout of this copy, and you can note down here that that's not much important because this is a miscellaneous chapter. Much important for this. You can note down. That is, this condition has to be continuous one. It is not like only on 31st March they have to see. This is a recurring percentage they should ensure to maintain. So, for example, we are in the month of April 2021. As on April 30th, there is a deposit, accumulated deposits of rupees 2 crores, for example. Now, within 2 months after close of April 30th, like May and June, by 30th June, I have to deposit 10% of 2 crores, that is 20 lakhs, in a scheduled commercial bank or post office as a term deposit. So this is the condition. This condition is a continuing one, not at the end of the financial year only. It's like a second preceding month continuous deposit and second preceding month. For example, April 30th, the due date to deposit this 10% of the money is 30th June. For example, for the month of June, what is the due date? July and August. 31st August is the due date. So every 2 months. So that is the condition here. And the next one is net owned funds of 10 lakh rupees or more. This is the next condition. Net owned funds of rupees 10 lakhs or more. 10 lakh rupees or more. What is net owned funds? So the net owned funds is the aggregate of paid up share capital plus free reserves. Paid up share capital plus free reserves and as reduced by the accumulated losses, if any, and intangibles. So simple. You have seen this definition in the NBFC chapter in the financial reporting as well. That's why I have not given this definition. Many of you are already aware of this this formula for net owned funds. The net owned funds, what is the definition of net owned fund? Net owned funds is nothing but an aggregate of paid up share capital, paid up equity share capital. As we know that preference share capital won't be there in the Nidhi company. It's a paid up equity share capital plus free reserves, only free reserves, less as reduced by accumulated losses, if any, on the face of the balance sheet, plus intangibles. When we have to see these conditions on the last audited balance sheet. For example, if you are in FY 2021, you have to see the limits as on 31st March 2020 balance sheet. Okay, that is what is called the net owned funds. That net owned funds should be 10 lakhs or more. After calculating this, taking this formula, if you calculate that net owned fund should be 10 lakhs or more. Okay. And net owned funds to deposits. There is another condition, net owned funds to deposit. For every 20 rupees of deposit, there should be 1 rupee of net owned fund. That is what the ratio says. Net owned funds to deposits ratio is 1:20. This ratio you should remember. This is a very important thing. Even for I think this was there in the Coro as well in the audit. So this you should remember. Net owned funds to deposit is 1:20. So these are the requirements. Let's summarize quickly what are the requirements. So it should be only as a public company. The minimum equity share capital should be 5 lakhs, and object is only to savings, lending, and deposit among its members. And within 1 year of its incorporation or at the time of this incorporation, Nidhi company should ensure at least 200 members should be there, and unencumbered term deposits, they have to maintain this balance continuously throughout the year. 10% of the outstanding deposits in a post office or a scheduled commercial bank, and net owned funds of rupees 10 lakh should be there. I have already told you what is net owned fund, and net owned funds to deposits ratio should be 1:20. This you should remember as a requirement. This is enough for Nidhi company. And we will go to the next category, that is others, which is a miscellaneous category, and with that we can close this Nidhi chapter. Now we are in others category. In others category, if you see the first point, the question is whether Nidhi company can expand their business. Whether Nidhi company can acquire another Nidhi company to expand their business, the answer is yes. But companies have put two restrictions on them. The first thing, they have to pass a special resolution in the general meeting. That is first condition. Second condition, they need to take a prior approval of the regional director. If these two conditions are followed, a Nidhi company can acquire another Nidhi company. That is possible. And the second point is, now we will discuss about the how directors will be appointed and how auditors will be appointed. First point is about the directors. There is a difference between other category of companies and the Nidhi companies. Director of a Nidhi company should be a member. So this is the difference between the other categories of companies and Nidhi company. So he should be a member. He should acquire some equity shares of the Nidhi company. So he should become a member to become a director of this company. And second thing is, if you refer section 152 of the Companies Act, there are some obligations on the director to obtain his DIN number and disclose the same to the company, and he has to do some KYC norms every year, right? We have already read this in section 152 of the Companies Act. Here also those provisions were applicable equally to the Nidhi director also. Nidhi director also to disclose his DIN number, as well as he has to comply the all KYC norms every year. Those provisions also applicable to Nidhi company's director. And further, if you refer section 164 subsection 1 says there are some general disqualifications, like the minor should not be a director, and he should not be undischarged insolvent, and he should not commit any crime which involves the moral turpitude, all these categories. 164 subsection 2 says company, if it is a default in filing of annual return or annual financial statement continuously for the 3 years, and the director will be disqualified in any other company where he is holding the directorship. That's about the 160 subsection 2 and subsection 3. Those three subsections disqualifications are also applicable to the Nidhi director as well. So in summary, the provisions related to DIN and provisions related to disqualifications under section 164 are equally applicable to the Nidhi company director as well. And third point, Nidhi company director can hold his directorship to a maximum of 10 years in a single term. Like continuous term of 10 years, he can hold his directorship. After that, he cannot be reappointed. He has to take a break. The break is 2 years. 2 years cooling off period he has to take. After that, he can be reappointed again. So, this is about the director's provisions. There is a little difference between the provisions as per the Companies Act and as per this other category of companies and Nidhi companies. So, you should be careful. This may be a question in the MCQs. And now it's about the auditors. Auditors, it is the same provisions as like section 139 subsection 2. And if individual is appointed as auditor, he can serve as an auditor for a continuous term of 5 years. If a firm is appointed, they can serve a continuous term of 5 years at a time for 2 consecutive terms. That means 10 years. So these provisions are the similar like 139 subsection 2. The rotation of auditors provisions we can see in the other categories of companies. And okay, the next point is what is the maximum interest rate that a Nidhi company can charge on the loans and advances it was granted. So the loans and advances, what is the maximum ceiling? Is there any ceiling? Ceiling is there? Yes, the ceiling is there. The ceiling is 7.5% over and above the maximum interest rate offered in deposits. Let me read out this point. Maximum interest can be charged on loans and advances is 7.5% above highest interest rate offered on deposits. What is the meaning of this? For example, now during the year, if the Nidhi company offered around 10% on its deposits, for example, so what is the maximum interest that can be charged on the loans? If deposits 10% they have they are offering, the maximum interest that there can be charged on the loans and advances is 17.5%. That means 7.5% above the deposit highest deposit rate. That is what this point says. And further, interest charged on interest calculated on reducing balance method. This is simple. So, for example, if a loan is 1 lakh, and if he has repaid around 10,000, then interest will be charged on the 19,000. That means a reduced balance. Okay, that is this point. So what we need to remember is 7.5% over and above the highest deposit rate that they have offered for the deposits. So, and that is the point. With this Nidhi Company chapter, all important points are over. Now we are looking at some procedural things like forms. You will remember these 4 forms. These 4 are important. So these are important from the MCQ's perspective. Let us see what are those forms. There are 4 forms are there: NDH 1, 2, 3, 4. NDH you can remember easily. NDH nothing but a Nidhi, just for identification. NDH 1. What is NDH 1? NDH 1 is an annual return that will be filed with the this regional director. The first form, NDH1. What is NDH1? NDH1 is an annual return filed with the ROC within 90 days of the close end of the financial year with the ROC. This is an annual return that should be filed, mandatorily filed by every Nidhi company. Further, this should be certified by CA, CS, CMA in practice, not in service, in practice. Okay, NDH1 is for the purpose of the whether the Nidhi company is complying with all the Nidhi rules or not. So this has to be certified by CA, CMA in practice. So that should be filed within 90 days of end of the financial year. That is NDH1. And about NDH2. NDH2, the purpose of NDH2 is, I think you have remembered, there is, we have discussed about the requirements. When we are discussing about this requirement, I told you that at the time of incorporation or within 1 year of the incorporation, Nidhi company has to ensure the following, like number of members, net owned funds to deposits, and minimum net owned funds, and all those conditions we have discussed. What if company is not able to meet the requirements within 1 year of incorporation, or any extended timeline granted by the regional director? What will happen? Then company has to file a return to the ROC NDH under NDH2, and saying that with the reasons, and were not complying with the rules, and for all the categories that was mentioned in the requirements area, they have to file a form for extension of the time. Then ROC will look at the form, and they will extend the timelines to comply with this with the requirements. Okay, that is about NDH2. Now NDH3. NDH3 is also almost related to the compliance with the Nidhi rules as like NDH1, but there are differences in the form. If you are interested, you can download the NDH1 and NDH3, that is directly available. You can Google it, but I won't suggest you to go through too much details into it. You just need to remember the form and the timeline and the number of the form. That is enough for this exam. So NDH3 is a half yearly return. It's also comply with the Nidhi rules only, and this should be filed within 30 days of close of the half year period. That means what is the first half year for the financial year is 30th September. That means Nidhi company has to file this half yearly return by 30th of October. And further, for the 31st March, they have to file this half yearly return by 30th of April. And this same should be certified by CA, CMA in practice. Okay, so this is about half yearly return. And the last form, that is NDH4. What is the purpose of NDH4? So every Nidhi company should have a prefix to its company name as Mutual Benefit Company or Nidhi Company Limited. That should be there for identification of an entity that it's a Nidhi company. So there is a time limit was also notified under NDH4 by when the company should get its name as Nidhi Company Limited or a Mutual Benefit Company Limited, also under NDH4. So this was actually a May 20 amendment that you can see the below to this forms table. There are two amendments are there. These are the procedural amendment that we will go through. So what is NDH4? NDH4 is an application to the ROC to get the status of Nidhi Company Limited or Mutual Benefit Company Limited in its prefix to it. Okay. And what is the amendment now? By when the company has to make an application to the ROC to get this status, there are time limits. So companies, Nidhi companies divided into two categories. The companies which are incorporated before commencement of this act and companies which are incorporated after the commencement of this act. There are two set of rules for there. First, we will see the timelines for the companies incorporated before commencement of this act. So I made one illustration here in an example. Just a minute. Yeah, I got it. So this is the example for the timelines, and I divide into two categories. First category, and this is the second category. This is second category. In the first category of the companies is incorporated before commencement of this act. In Nidhi company incorporated before commencement of this act. What is the timeline? So Nidhi company rules came into the effect on 15th August 2019. 15th August 2019. Timeline specified is, if you see the timelines here, Nidhi company must be given to the application to the central government within 1 year from the date of incorporation. Within 1 year from the date of incorporation, they have to provide the application. If the company incorporated before commencement of this act, or within 6 months from the enforcement of these rules, whichever is earlier. There are two conditions. One is within 1 year from its incorporation, or within 6 months from the enforcement of these rules. When the rules were enforced, that is 15th August 2019. That is, you calculate 6 months from there. If you calculate 6 months from there, what is the timeline? 14th February 2020. That means company has to make an application under NDH4 within 6 months from the date of commencement of these rules. That is 14th February 2020. Okay, and what is the second condition? Is that the second limitation is the date of 1 year from the date of incorporation. Data, for example, the date of incorporation of the company is on 1st August 2019. And what is the 1 year calculated from there? Is 31st July 2020, within 1 year. So either 6 months or 1 year, whichever is earlier, they have to make an application to the central government. That is what NDH4 says. Okay, this is the category of if the company incorporated before the commencement of this act. What if the company incorporated after the commencement of these rules? And the time limit is very simple, that it is 1 year from the date of incorporation and add 60 days to it. For example, date of incorporation is 1st September 2019. That is 15th August rules came into the effect, and 1st September company was incorporated. And calculate 1 year from there. That is 31st August 2020, and add 60 days to it. They have the time frame of 60 days additional grace time to apply for the status of Nidhi company. That is by 30th October 2020. That is 2 months from 31st August. 30th October 2020. They have to file NDH4 with the central government to get the status of the Nidhi company. That is simple about this timeline. And this is a May 20 amendment. Procedural amendment. There are less chances. But just go through, less chances to come into the exam. Let's go through this rule again. I will just read out. If Nidhi company incorporated before commencement of this act, application to declare the same as Nidhi company must be given to central government within 1 year from the date of incorporation or within 6 months of enforcement of rules whichever is earlier. That is the first category companies. And second category companies, if a Nidhi company incorporated after the commencement of this act, then application shall be made within 60 days from the date of expiry of 1 year from the date of incorporation. Okay, date of after the commencement of this act, 1 year, and then add 60 days to it. So that is the time limit provided under NDH 4. Okay, with this, and oh sorry, there is a last point is there in the Nidhi companies. This is also an amendment. Okay, there are more chances compared with the timelines. This point is have more chances getting into the exam. So is that if company doesn't file application to the central government under for NDH 4. Example, if they doesn't file, what are the consequences? There are serious consequences. I can say that they cannot file form SH7 and form PAS3. What are these SH7? SH7 is a alteration of the share capital. Alteration of the share capital. That means if the company doesn't get a status of the Nidhi company, the central government doesn't allow them to change its capital structure. That is important point. Another thing, they won't even allow them to allocation of any securities. If you see, allotment of any security, return of allotment of any security also not allowed. That is PAS3, form PAS3. These two forms also not allowed. You may get a question in the exam that the company has not filed NDH4. What are the consequences? Which forms they are not able to file. So you can easily choose the forms. Form SS7 they won't able to file, and form PAS that they won't able to file. Okay, with this Nidhi companies chapter is over, and from my side I think this is more than enough. And don't get into the to try to remember all the rules you can see in the study material, but because there are many other parts are there in the corporate law where you have to remember, like directors provisions, auditors provisions, accounts provisions, dividend and all. So those are very important for the exam. I won't suggest you to remember the rules in this chapter. Now I have captured the maximum as possible the previous year questions also here. Okay, you can go through. And the good thing with these miscellaneous chapters in corporate law is all the questions will be a direct questions. So if you see this first question, board of directors are planning to issue preference shares. Right? Board of directors planning to issue preference shares, whether it is allowed or not allowed. It is not allowed. Because as per the Nidhi rules, there is a specific prohibition. Company shall not issue preference shares and debentures. That is the condition. So you can easily write as per Nidhi rules, this was not allowed. And if I will go through, for example, the second point as well. After that, you can go through. And locker facility, and they are providing locker facility to its members, and the income from locker facility is 30%. How much is the maximum that is allowed for a Nidhi company to have a locker facility income? That is 20%, right? Here they 30%. 30% is not allowed. This is a violation of the Nidhi rules. And similarly, declaring dividend at a current year at 45%. If you remember the rules again in the prohibition spot, and the maximum dividend that they can allow is 25%. If they want to cross this 25%, they have to take an approval of a regional director. You can write an answer like this. This is a prohibition of the Nidhi rules, but unless until they take the approval from the regional director, you can write your answer like that. So these questions are very strict. You can go through. And uh, last thing, there is an MCQ question also asked in the MTP 21. Recently released around few days back. They have released this MTPs for May 21. And I have taken that one of the question related to Nidhi companies to here. That is, one Nidhi company is there, and it has 250 members, and it is providing the locker facility to its members. And locker facility income, how much? What is the question is what is the maximum rental income they can get from the by complying with the Nidhi rules? Rental income they can get from the locker rent facility. Okay, so if you can see here, for FY 2021, income of the company was 40 lakhs and expenses incurred during the year amounting to 10 lakhs. Calculate the maximum rental income could have been earned during the FY 2021 by the company. So here, this is how institute will confuse you, and they will say this much is the income, expenses incurred during the year, and we thought that we have to deduct this 10 lakhs from the 40 lakhs and calculate the 20% on 30 lakhs only. This is a trap. So if you can go back to the rule, and they say the gross total income. So gross total income doesn't include any expenses. So you need to calculate the 20% on 40 lakhs only. 40 lakhs, what? How much is the 20%? That is 8 lakhs. So answer is C. That is 8 lakhs. Okay, 8 lakhs is the answer. So this is the one question that was asked in MTP. I have included that here, and you can go through the remaining bits of the previous year questions here. Previous year questions here. There is, I think there is one more question which was asked on the same points, almost the same points in the previous year exam. Yeah. So this is about Nidhi companies, and you can comment me for any feedback that you can provide me, any feedback that about the teaching, about anything that you want, any further topics for the coming up May 21 exam. I'm happy to put a video on the topic in a summary manner or in a detailed manner. I'm happy to provide you the material. Please stay with me, and I will keep uploading these miscellaneous chapters mostly. Okay, thank you all. Bye. And once again, all the best for your exams. Okay, bye.